Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda. All right, good evening again, Patriots. How are we going out there? Again, we, crack into another week, and it's just absolute, total exposure, guys, is all I'm saying. I had to laugh about, whoa, where have I gone? I've just lost myself. Here I am, I'm back again. I had to laugh about Elon's little tweet about the gold. All right, and guys, you wouldn't believe it, but Fort Knox is like underwater now. You can't get there, if they wanted to. It's just hilarious what's going on out there. This is one hell of a fully scripted play that we're seeing here as they're dropping stuff out. We've got Marco Rubio's heading to the United Arab Emirates. We got NATO leaders getting together because they're shitting themselves, and they're all getting together over in, I don't know, England, Europe maybe. But anyway, they're all getting together. So it's panic in the deep state. That's what we're seeing. Netanyahu's come out and said the gates of hell will be opened if there's any bullshit with the hostages. So it's, it's just ramping up, guys. I don't know how far it can ramp up. I really don't. But it's obviously just day by day, a bit by bit, getting better. But, we got a lot going on, all right. We got, let's have a look at a couple of things I've got up here. So, the major banks have dropped the drop rate for a million of Aussies with a mortgage. Okay, well, look, we're coming up to an election, guys. All right, don't it's all usury anyway. All right, it's dead set illegal. So the number of children in youth detention up by 1/3. New data shows. Now this is the government's, obviously from the Guardian again, guys. So that's the government stuff. It's probably a bit higher. I don't know, but again. This is all because of the government's breakdown of society that we're in this. Now, JFK's on the RFK over there. He's on the run. Red dye 3 has been banned in America. What comes next? Well, I know you're on the seed oils too, RFK, but, mate, a few things we'd like to see. Look, guys, I think the most 3 important things that are going to happen here is our water, our food, and our air need to be cleaned up, and as me and Caz were talking about before, we're just going to sit and watch it, and see how it plays out. But, they're over there like injecting chickens and carrying on. And, in the background, while RFK is supposedly in control now. So, yeah, not a good look. And it doesn't, I think there's, you should be going everything, not just one or two things. So, their new laws means coastal landowners in Victoria are unable to build on their property. So they're telling you the climate change is going to bring up the sea level, but don't worry because everybody else owns houses on the beach, and they'll bring up the sea level if they want to, guys, through through tornadoes, through hurricanes, through whatever else they'd like to do, because we get a lot of evidence out there around the world now. We got people coming out talking about just exactly what they're doing with this weather, and that it's going to take a military intervention, you know what I mean, or inquiry it out for us to actually get the information on this. So, look, we just keep going forward, don't we? All right. And I think with the way Australia's going, we've just got to keep pushing, right? Give these guys no grace. Let's get in their face, all right, and let them know, what's happening. The election's another crazy thing. Kazza, whenever you're right, darling, come in. This election coming up, guys, there's sort of no suitable candidate, is there? If you've got one, tell me about it. But I mean, you all know my view. My view's never changed since I ran in the Senate, and my view was probably the same before I actually ran, is that I don't see anyone out there that's worthwhile to have my vote, So,
look, it's not that they don't have good policies. I just don't know that we can vote our way out of it. Because we've seen what they've done with the past elections. They steal it. They just miscount, and then you've got no right of recourse. You can't get anything fixed. So,
well, hopefully a ripple's coming across the ocean, the Pacific, and it's going to cruise straight past Hawaii, in through Noumea, etc., and around Lord Howe there, and bang into the coast of Australia here, and that ripple's just going to change the tide, Kaz. That's what we're looking for, isn't it, from America, from what's going on over there. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff that's good. There's now. Look, I was a bit confused with this story because it was a Victorian police officer that's been charged, but he's got the excess. I thought because they cover for one another, but this guy's got so many in excess. I think even his own got sick of him.
Shown body-worn camera footage of protesters being hit in the face with capsicum spray outside the convention centre. As Penelope Lewis explains, lawyers argue Victoria Police used excessive force, amounting to battery during a mining protest.
Firing capsicum spray. Police argue this was a justified use of force, but lawyers for Jordan Brown, who was sprayed in the crush, claim it constitutes battery.
Police's use of OC spray, which is capsicum spray, was not proportionate and reasonable to the threat that they faced.
Dozens of protesters and police swarmed the Melbourne Convention Centre during a mining conference in October 2019.
What about what they did to the peaceful protesters in Melbourne on the Senate Ave?
With direct energy weapons, not just capsicum spray. Unbelievable. But yeah.
And what about now they decided that, what are we not going to hold our, they've gotten rid of the bugle call at the cenotaph now because, can't have anything Australian, anything that we're proud of. So anyway.
They're going to keep removing stuff from us, Kaz, till we stand up and in numbers and say no more, or we catch them out somewhere with their pants down, which we often do, but they just move to a new location and get new undies, It's not doesn't take long for them to stain them again, but they seem to just keep coming up with a clean pair, don't they?
Oh, dear me. All right, look, let's, Robin Rawson has put together this story for us.
Rawson again doing a raw report from Port Macquarie. Who do we have here?
Hi, my name is Caz.
And what would you like to say about what you found through the COVID times?
Well, interesting for me because I worked in pharmacy and it was quite inevitable after the first year of seeing a lot of my customers who become friends over years and years in the industry becoming really unwell, and also losing them, dying. So I guess that was a big awakening for me. My husband was always quite awake to what was going on, but with a pharmacy background, I entrusted my whole self and even my children and everything into that system. But once I saw what was happening in front of my eyes, there was no turning back, that something really bad's going on here. And often staff would make comments like, why are our customers dying? Why are they so unwell? Why is she got shaking? Why has he had a stroke? It wasn't rocket science to me. So I guess
get to your governors, people. Get to your governors. It's murder 101. That's all it is. Genocide. We've got the documents. Everyone's been delivered the documents, guys. All right. Let's get in some numbers, right? And let's go and ask politely and push the point politely, all right, that we want a response from the documents that have been given, the witness statement. Right. That's our tool at the moment, guys. We've got to push it. Yep.
Well, what's interesting about that as well is that Piers Morgan has come out overnight and he has said a similar thing. He said that he was with Piers Morgan, who did push the vaccine, remember?
Yeah.
You very much so, very heavy-handed, and he's come out and he has said that he had a dinner with doctors and they were saying, how terrible the cancer rate is, and they're attributing it completely to the vaccine. So he's changed his tune, indeed.
Yep. Unbelievable. But it's going to take us. And look, the people are waking up out there. They're not believing the mainstream. They know this Israeli anti-Semitic stuff is all bullshit. They know it's all scripted, Caz. So that's a great, stepping point, because, I do believe that the exposure of 9/11 is coming out. And I do believe that. All right. So, a few people are going to wake up. How far they go in this exposure thing, Caz and I were talking about that before, Do they blow these people's heads off, or do we get more frustrated as we just see little bits and pieces coming to the forefront that we've known for 3 and 4 years, because it is getting very frustrating. We just want the tap turned on, bugger them, man. Just like, as much as I, feel sorry for them and that lady right there that was just speaking on the interview, but, it's just time to, turn on the cold water and wake up.
Now, Chick was organising a protest against this. Okay, this is the renewables. Now, Victoria fast tracks small wind and giant battery, and before she could even organise it, they've rushed it through. And it's just timely that we actually listen to this. This is the whistleblower on the turbines.
Holding this in place is the Renewable Energy Electricity Act of 2000 and the Renewable Energy Electricity Regulations of 2002. That is the piece of legislation that is holding the subsidy in place. That is the piece of legislation that needs to be scrapped, and we need to scrap it quickly, because that is what is supplying the wind industry with the $1 million per turbine per year in subsidy from our electricity bills. And that Renewable Energy Electricity Act holds in place the issuing of large-scale generation certificates for wind, or LGCs. The retailers have to purchase the certificates or pay a penalty price. So they're currently trading at $45 per megawatt hour, and the penalty price is $60. So basically, unless you buy your LGC at $45, you get fined $60 for every megawatt hour. So currently, there's 33,000 gigawatt hours times $45 is $1.46 billion per year is the subsidy that's going out in LGCs. And then added to that is the ongoing government support of renewables, which is the Clean Energy Finance Corporation at $1.3 billion per year, ARENA at $100 million per year, the 30% safeguard mechanism at $906 million per year, the Clean Energy Regulator at $750 million per year. Our state schemes are over $14 billion, and the Capacity Investment Scheme is $10.38 billion per year. These are amounts of money that just make your head spin.
Yes, they are.
Yep. And do you know how much it costs to actually close a coal mine down? You know what I mean? Like a coal plant. It's just unbelievable, mate. It's just
they've just had all these studies that coal is the cheapest thing. It doesn't matter, because China is building how many per week? Like,
six a week.
Like, it's just like I don't know why Australians need to be so silly. Like, seriously, grow up.
Because they need to break it down, Caz, because they want a failing system. That's exactly what they're building. It's New World Order standard. It's put in place. It's a load of shit. They're laundering money whilst they're tearing our system down and replacing it with something that they know will make us starve to death and freeze to death because we'll have no electricity.
Yeah. And then what they're doing is they're importing a whole heap of people to have fights so that they can clamp down on our free speech, as seen here.
Third element is that the incitement to hatred by the Public Act must be intentional. This element means that statements or communications that are not intended to incite hatred or that are reckless as to whether they may incite hatred are not within the purview of the offence. The fourth element of the offence is that the intentional incitement to hatred by Public Act must be on the basis of race. The definition of race is taken from the existing definition in section 93Z of the Crimes Act and includes colour, nationality, descent and ethnic, ethno-religious or national origin. The fifth element is that the Public Act that intentionally incites hatred on the basis of race would cause a reasonable person who was the target of the incitement of hatred or a reasonable person who was a member of a group of persons that was the target of the incitement.
It is the language is so vague.
It is
reckless.
Bullshit.
Reckless is completely different from intentional. You can do something completely unintentional that's reckless, and yet they've put it together. Like,
it's unreal,
an ethno race, religious race. It's just ridiculous. Like, the whole thing needs to be scrapped. And how about we actually just clean up our government first? You guys first get some decent laws in place that will actually the people will respond to.
And stop listening to the, to Mossad and the CIA and pushing your ways in what you're doing with our country because we know what's going on, guys, right? And
Dave, it's not just that. We go after the Luciferians. Well, that's a legitimate religion. The Satanists will bring charges against us.
Synagogue of Satan.
For goodness sakes. It's just it's just unreal. Unreal. There's two different opposing stories here. This is one with the Amish where they don't have any regulation. Okay, look at this and how much they can achieve.
Two, half in Irwin working and the other half here in Washington County working to rebuild, to replace a home that was lost in the floods. This home on Dave Fender Road in Washington County is one of hundreds being rebuilt by Appalachia Service Project. ASP is getting help with the deck from this group of Amish. But carpentry isn't all they've done while in the area this past week.
We've done a little bit of everything. We've put in some footers, we've laid block, we've framed a house. We've helped one fella down here that had a mechanic shop and was flooded, and he still had not had nobody in to clean up. So we spent a day cleaning up for him.
The group is staying at Wesley Memorial United Methodist Church in Johnson City.
All right, so you have that where they're able to do it in a very short period of time. They can put up a house in a day, or a barn in a day, in a few hours. They're incredible.
I saw 200 of them walking a whole big barn shed, man, from where they built it to where it had to be situated, moving this. And they just got inside, everyone, and grabbed the bear. They took the floor up, just grabbed the bearers, man, and just walked this thing. It was unbelievable. They're machines.
And look at this in comparison to Australia. This is by Shallow Chow.
Compared to 30 years ago, you could deliver a home in today's money for about $500 a square metre. In today's money, we're at $3,000 to $4,000 a square metre now. And it's not because, we're swinging hammers any differently. It's purely because what goes into that per square metre of that house. We're talking about a lot of imported goods and multiple layers of regulation. Plus, we've also made it harder to deliver new homes with increases in energy efficiency, new engineering requirements, and also, trying to just maintain the green ideology around trying to deliver homes that are thermally efficient these days too. All of these things are adding massive costs. I own a building company. Last year I breached that $1.3 million for payroll tax, and suddenly I'm dropping another 5% of that cost into what we deliver into people's homes as well. So as things have gotten more expensive, as wages have gone up as well, all of those other little bits and pieces have crept in too.
All by design.
There's too much red tape. Yeah, too much red tape, too much government. We don't need more government. We need less government. That's the issue.
Less government, more people doing what they want to do without rules and regulations, and everyone would be happy in what they were doing and would be doing good things. Because if you weren't, you'd get a, bit of saltpeter up the arse from the bloke up the road or whatever it might take, but that's how it used to be and that's how it should still be.
Now, there's been a lot of talk today about the gold being flown back into the United States. Okay, very interesting. Why is the London Bank surrendering their gold to the United States? Very fascinating. Now, one of the things that has come across my path is this little thing. Now, this is strictly confidential. This is from the Reserve Bank in 2021. The last line says, the existence of fake gold bars has been detected in the past by the presence of duplicate refiner serial numbers. Now, that was actually talking about the Bank of England. So it will be very interesting to see what comes out of this Doge report. What has happened as well is the UK spending. So a lot of people are now actually looking at their own countries. And this is what the commentary is currently about the UK.
Spends $15 billion a year on overseas aid. Remember that 22 billion black hole? Well, didn't need to exist, did it? British taxes are being squandered on, here's some examples. Shrimp farms in Bangladesh. What's that supposed to be doing? Poetry workshops in Colombian jails. Oh, that's a real Marshall Programme. That's going to keep Europe safe, isn't it? Let's make some shrimp farms in Bangladesh and teach skinheads in Colombia to, I don't know, quote Shakespeare. And gender lectures in Kenya. I used to live in Kenya, and I'm pretty sure that if you go over, I think you might have a bit of pocket of wokery in Nairobi, but you go up to, I don't know, go to Nakuru or somewhere else, or Nyanza province, and you start telling them that women can have penises, you'll probably be attacked by a load of angry men. Ridiculous. But I just can't. We have been talking about foreign aid for a long time, and I've always had the position that when foreign aid is used well, and especially if it's used to actually create things like foreign direct investment. So actually, instead of telling women they can have penises in Kenya, help them build a tea factory. So we're not having to sort of, buy tea from Mombasa, ship it to be processed in Poland and then to UK shelves. Let's just get that directly from Kenya, build up their economy, make sure they've got more grey-coloured jobs. And in return, much like China does with these things, when China says, I'm going to build a motorway or a railway line, they then go, can we access your minerals? That's the way to do things, not teaching people in prisons about, whatever poetry is they're apparently being
We'll leave it there. Look, the thing is, and then you've had this situation here. Now, everyone's thinking this is a joke. This has been done on purpose, okay? The Dems just had a blind man testify that he never saw any evidence of misuse of government funds, okay? They've done that on purpose so that he can word salad out of it.
I tell you what, have you seen Sammy Davis Jr.'s house? Because neither's he. But anyway, that's the ridiculousness. That's the ridiculousness we are going through. There's a blind man reading a book to his deaf son, and they'd use that as testimony.
That's it. All right, but when you get Fox News are actually starting to demand the money back, and that the money should come back to the people, and they're correct. Look,
who reached out to me. She's in Cape Coral, Florida. And she says, Harris, could the government give all the taxpayers a refund from the money they're finding that went to places it never should have gone?
Yes, that is the next step, and that is the next natural step. When you are finding all of this money, when you are taking it back, when you are cutting off future streams of funding, give that back to the American people. Then you will see the economy absolutely explode. And people will once again be able to take out new loans and start new businesses and all the wonderful things that follow when they have more of their own money.
Correct. JFK, he cut taxes in his first term by 50%, and his revenue doubled. And then he cut it by another 30%, and I think it doubled again. So economies, it doesn't do well to tax people because they don't spend anything. It's better for the economy if they spend it.
You got nothing left to be taxed on, Caz. You know that we need to abolish about 100 taxes, and we'd be, and then get our resources back in our country, and hopefully, guys, this is the way we're heading. All right, but it's going to be a battle, and it's going to be a fight. We are so well taken over in this country, guys, so well taken over. But we're here. We're not going anywhere. You got nothing else to do. All right, so wake up as many as you can and join the game.
Well, one of the interesting things that's come out is that Doge has announced that they're going to audit the SEC. Now, that's a security SEC is for, they're the ones that were taking XRP and Ripple to the court, okay? Securities and Exchange Commission, that's it. Now, Jean-Claude, he has actually said, I vote reparations be made to Reggie Middleton. For those that don't know, the whole Reggie Middleton came up with a cryptocurrency called Veritasium, which stopped all kinds of fraud in the stock market. Okay, it just ceased it. Everything was made trackable. The government basically harassed him and chased him out because they didn't want it. They want to be able to launder money through it. So, and now Reggie has just, like the stuff that they've done to him, they've harassed him like anything. So yeah, I hope they can actually does bring some sort of reparations towards Reggie Middleton.
Well, we're going to see a lot of stuff, guys. That's what we want to see because we know a lot of stuff and we want to see it out there. And So anyway.
That's it. All right, let's bring in the flyers because we're almost at past. In New South Wales, we have the following events. In Sydney, every Monday, join the growing numbers for Monday at Maggie's. Gather together to end the tyranny by showing loss of confidence in the government. Monday at Maggie's from 11 a.m, Macquarie Street, Sydney. Come and celebrate our freedom and support for each other, our culture and play music at the 832 muster from the 7th to the 9th of March 2025. The location is at Rollins Plains Recreational Reserve. The address is 28 Bilberil Road, Rollins Plains, which is 40 minutes northwest of Port Macquarie. The 832 muster will be at Deniliquin, New South Wales, 28th to the 31st of March. And a reminder to contact the officers of Chris Minns, Ryan Park and Paul Scully. They are invited to come on the show Stop the Rot, Sack the Lot and have a debate with Dave. And the people from Protect Our Australian Heritage have been meeting at the Captain Cook statue in Hyde Park. They will be doing it again on Saturday the 22nd of February at 4 p.m. Another special mention in Wodonga Courthouse for Eric Lord on the 25th of February. The hearing is now on the 7th of March. Eric Lord versus Vic Pol. It will be a 5-day hearing commencing on the 17th of March at Wodonga Courthouse. Eric is charged with assaulting a police officer that as they drove onto his property, knocking down his wife, running her over and resulting in a broken pelvis. And in Victoria, we have the following events. In Melbourne, gather at the Governor's every Saturday to end the tyranny. 10 a.m. every Saturday at the Governor Gates. In Canberra, every day for over 1,000 days, the freedom fighters have been protesting at the Governor-General's. To join in, meet at the National Rock Garden at 10 a.m. to expose the 28, or tune in on YouTube at #expose the 28. And Dan Tilda's Designs, who offer handmade t-shirts and custom designs, have all of these designs for just $10 each. $10 for one, $15 for two, $18 for three, plus postage. So head over to Dan Tilda's Designs on Facebook. And the People's Revolution will be holding a rally at the Queen's Garden in Brisbane CBD on Saturday the 22nd of February at 2:22 p.m. With only 5 years until 2030, keep pushing. And in Western Australia, there will be a rally against the offshore wind turbines and net zero insanity. March the 1st at 10 a.m. at Parliament House Courtyard in Perth. A daily prayer space is held on X at 3 p.m. So whatever you're facing, come along and we can lift you up in prayer. Every day, 3 p.m. on X. Melissa 146233923.
Okay, and just to let you know, coming up, we'll put it at the flyer on, but the Cossacks got an event coming up, guys. To do with the Russians, and the Russians are our allies in this worldwide fight, right? We know that, all right? We know what's going on here. That's going to be coming up, I think maybe this weekend, but we'll get a poster up for it in the next day. So, just let you know about that in the weekend too. It's up at the consulate. They're doing a bit of a drive with some cars, and back for a barbecue, I think. But anyway.
We've got some interesting stuff going on in Europe at the moment. You have this situation with Vance at the moment. And he is, where am I actually? 3. With Vance at the moment. So he's basically saying, raiding homes due to online insults is Orwellian practice, and everybody in Europe and the US should reject this madness. Yes, they should. And here he is actually.
The leader, I forget exactly which official it was within the European Union, but sent Elon this threatening letter that basically said, we're going to arrest you if you platform Donald Trump, who, by the way, is the likely next president of the United States. So what America should be saying is, if NATO wants us to continue supporting them, and NATO wants us to continue to be a good participant in this military alliance, why don't you respect American values and respect free speech? It's insane that we would support a military alliance if that military alliance isn't going to be pro-free speech. I think we can do both, but we've got to say American power comes with certain strings attached. One of those is respect free speech, especially in our European allies. Like, look, I'm not going to go to some backwoods country and tell them how to live their lives, but European countries should theoretically share American values, especially about some very basic things like free speech.
Calling us backward. He was calling the Europeans backwards. I'll wear that one, But look, Vance is in Saudi Arabia as we speak, actually, Kath. I think he's just pulling in there now, mate, for talks over there. So, very, very interesting times. Trump's got everyone out doing.
Well, it is, but the problem...
Kash Patel comes in tomorrow. They thought today, being the 17th, might have been a good day for it. But anyway, it's actually tomorrow now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that what's interesting is just the way these people, this is CBS interviewing these prosecutors.
Insult somebody in public.
Yes, it is.
And it's a crime to insult them online as well?
Yes. The fine could be even higher if you insult someone in the internet.
Why?
Because in internet, it stays there. If we are talking here face to face, you insult me, I insult you, okay, finish. But if you in the internet, if I insult you or a politician,
that sticks around forever.
Yeah.
The prosecutors explain German law also prohibits the spread of malicious gossip, violent threats, and fake quotes.
If somebody posts something that's not true, and then somebody else reposts it or likes it, are they committing a crime?
Yeah, in the case of reposting, it is a crime as well, because
holy crap, just as bad as here during COVID, but it's having a backlash. And guys, this is really important that we understand this. So this is German schools, and what they've done is they've been holding mock elections. Now, the AfD has been winning every single one by a massive majority. So the kids, it's actually the kids. Now, remember, we've looked at the futures technologies, and they all say the web bots and everything. The children of the future hate us. And also you've got these situations where you've got these massive protests for the AfD in Germany.
When will we see crowds like that in Australia, Kaz? When will we see it?
Well, we saw it. No, there was only 10,000 apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Watching that. I got to get some of that film out. Remember watching that, man? Far out. That was crazy.
Oh no, but anyway, okay. So now this is what I wanted to play earlier. So let's have a look at this.
Made to protect, but instead became a predator.
Did you ever think this behaviour was appropriate?
Sorry, can you get out of my way, please?
Shy now, the court heard former leading senior constable Brett Johnson was a sleaze to vulnerable women he met on the job. He used the police database to get their private information, then pursued intimate relationships with them. Some were victims of crime, one a person who was reporting on bail. He texted them, added them on Snapchat, waited outside their homes and workplaces, and on one occasion had sex in an interview room while on duty at Richmond Police Station. That victim told the court, "I thought he was there to protect people. I can't look my kids in the face and honestly tell them to call 000 because that trust is gone."
What a grub.
This is why we've got half the police force in, putting the pressure on in Vicpol, and Shane Patton resigning yesterday. I haven't looked into that again. I haven't had a chance. I've been putting a motor together all day, but I wonder what's going on there, Caz. Have we got anything on that yet? No.
I don't know. It's I think that my take is that there's enough of them in there that even the ones in there that have, I think they're just getting jack of it. Hey, after a while of criminality, people do get jack, even though they've been compromised. They just basically go, "I don't care. I'm not putting up with this. It's just wrong." So hopefully that's what we're. That's
and it's so blatant now. You know, like they'll know, because you know why? They'll be getting told now what to do. Not come around and beat up old grannies with no masks on because it's COVID time. Now it's get an anti-Semitite. That's what their orders will be. You know, anyone who does this, talks against Israel, you bang them. All right, you talk about anyone else, but no, not them. And you know, and the cops will be waking up to this because it'll be passed down. They will be given instructions. This is how it works. The Freemasonic Club. This is how it works.
That's it. Donald Trump has announced that the Boers in South Africa can immigrate. Okay, so this is what's happened. They're all lining up outside the consulate. So yeah, very interesting. It's such a shame. They're such good people. The South
Africa's just been an absolute slaughter pit, hadn't it? For how long, Caz? It is just
what a disgrace. What a disgrace that is. And thank goodness he's actually said something about it, because otherwise, you know, it just. But we're having a lot of wins, you know, because you've also got this the situation where this journalist has admitted to the propaganda in Canada.
We betrayed the public. We broke their trust. And we have been riding on a reputation of excellence for years. And now we were quickly shutting down one side of the debate. And how were we doing that? We branded the doctors and the experts the CBC chose that we used in our stories. We branded them as competent and trustworthy. And those who questioned and challenged the narrative were portrayed as dangerous and spreading disinformation. And that was regardless of what their specialty was, what their background was, and what their experience was. And I just also want to sort of give you a window into how this affected me personally. As a veteran journalist, I had solid contacts in the community. I had people calling me with stories. So I was seeing and I was hearing and I was absorbing all their stories of suffering and pain, and they were sharing them with me, and these stories weren't being told. Some of those were from the vaccine injured. Some were from people who had lost their job because of their vaccination status. Those whose families had been blown apart and they'd been ostracized. University students who were depressed over repeated lockdowns and mandates, and parents who were calling me that were agonizing on whether they should vaccinate their child or not. So all these stories were sitting inside of me. They were left with me, and I felt the crushing burden and the weight of their truth not being given a voice. And it affected my well-being because these people trusted me, and I felt I had failed them and I had let them down. It was like I had failed these people.
She goes on to say that we were pushing propaganda, admitting to it. So, she's about 2
she
years
needs to
too
get
late.
in front of a camera on mainstream and tell her story and push her way in and do something for the people. Because she's been lying to us for friggin' 4 years.
Yeah, they push you out once you start telling the truth, although I have seen that there are some truths starting to started to creep through. So, but mind you, it's been a long time coming.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, guys, and it's been absolutely brilliant. What a fight it's been, you know, like a war, a silent war. And man, I'm telling you, you know, they have come at you every way, but you know, well, there's nothing they've left out. All right, and we're still here, guys. We're still here. We're fighting. All right, we're pushing back, and we're actually going to beat evil here. Right, this is our win. All right, but it's going to take some work. Okay, but yeah, like I said, the next few weeks going to be very, very exciting, guys. Going into a bit of a swell coming up here. That's why I'm bopping back across the screen. Yeah, this next few weeks, guys, going into March. Yeah, going to be some really wild shit going on from the deep state. All right, the exposure is going to ramp up. The topics are going to ramp up, and the craziness from the deep state is just going to rock on. That's what I reckon is going to happen.
We're being taken out by the rocking housewife. It's a bit rude, guys. So if you've got kids, might want to take them into the next room or something. Everything is a butt plug. I believe Dave's got to do. I think this is a tribute for Dave.
Yeah, there is a. I just saw there in Channel 10 have done a report on chemtrails actually. So that's good. You know?
We had it to bring in tonight, but I don't. Yeah, but I don't know that it. Well, look. Well, let's just grab it and play a bit of it. But
play a bit of it.
But yeah, no, I don't know that it is actually us, is it?
With a cocktail of chemicals from on high. Those white vapour trails in the sky left by aircraft are government weather modification cover-up, and in the process we're all being slowly poisoned. Chemtrails are happening, and that they are for climate engineering.
We have NASA satellite imagery like that, which you're showing right now, that clearly no one needs to know anything about meteorology to see that there's very unnatural patterns in those cloud formations, in fact, patterns that nature cannot make. In addition to our testing of precipitation, the climate engineering components in the precipitation, aluminum, barium, strontium, polymer fibers, using a flying laboratory that NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also uses, and we have just confirmed the same climate engineering elements that were emitted from aircraft in a layer that we flew through. We have film footage of these aircraft at altitude turning on and off.
Yeah, no, Jay, I don't know that it is real actually, because Dane Wigington, he wouldn't be on Channel 10, and I haven't gone hunting for it, but it's quite possibly somebody's cut it together.
The point is, we know it's true, and we know it's happening. Okay, and that's the bottom line.
That's
okay.
It. All right,
guys. Thanks again. Look, guys, just keep doing what we're doing. We've got mission statement out there. We need to be making our phone calls, sending out emails, keeping the pressure on the establishment. Get to the Governor Generals. You know, let's get some crowds at the Governor Generals, guys. All right, come on. We got work to do. All right. So I know they're making it hard for you, but that's just what the enemy does. All right, they're going to make it hard for us. We just got to endure and overcome. All right, endure and overcome. That's what we got to do every day we get up. All right, because we're against it. But that's cool. We might be against it. We're winning our part. By hands down, winning our part, guys. All right. Okay, thanks again for the night. See you, Caz.
I see a tree, its shape so round, like a toy lost, but now it's found. Holiday cheer in form so strange, minds playing tricks, it's all rearranged. You got the streets all paved in gold, shapes and designs so bold they hold. Is it a plot or just a ruse? Everything's coming home to roost. Butt plugs here and butt plugs there, in the trees and in the air. Strangest forms that charm and tug, everything's a butt plug. Driving toys and trinkets bright, shapes that purely twist the night. There's a couple or so they say, funny shapes that lead the way. Could it be they're just for fun, or are they here for everyone? Butt plugs here and butt plugs there, in the trees and in the air. Strangest forms that charm and tug, everything's a butt plug. Everything's a butt plug.